Hello, everyone. This is Mary, and welcome to the Retro Rewatch podcast, a podcast all about movies and television. So hopefully you are all doing really well. I appreciate you tuning in to the episode. I decided to change the name of the podcast. I edited in the audio for the first 3 episodes because those were pre-recorded, and so I made a new email, and I will link that in the description. And also, thank you for watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That's where the episodes are available. And we'll get right into the episode, which is Tale of the Twisted Claw for Are You Afraid of the Dark, which is the pilot episode, but also the 4th episode of the show. It's a little bit weird because they had it originally airing in 1990 on Halloween. So here we go. This one opens a little bit differently than we normally see. A young boy is sleeping in bed. A clock is ticking away, then it stops all of a sudden. He wakes up and says, "Oh, not again." Some weird, creepy music starts playing, and mist is coming from under his bedroom door. It creaks open, and a hooded, cloaked figure appears. He jolts up, and all of a sudden it's daylight. Or daytime. He comments how he hates the dream, and the figure is standing beside him, groaning. He screams, and then we cut to the Midnight Society with Kiki and Kristen screaming. Betty Ann looks really excited because she likes all the creepy stuff, and Frank comments, "Excellent." David looks freaked out. Kiki asks Eric what happened because he's the one telling the story, and he doesn't know.
So, what happened? Don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I mean, I don't know. I'll figure something out for next time.
Like, nice having an incomplete story, Eric. I feel like if you're the one telling the tale, you should kind of have a finished story.
Shouldn't call a meeting without a full story, Eric.
It's better than no story at all.
He says he'll finish it for the next time. Betty Ann says she loves cliffhanger endings. Gary is pissed because it's almost lights out and they need a full story. If it's lights out, you could just end and go home. I mean, come on. Kristen gives Eric shit for calling a meeting without a full story, and he says it's better than no story at all. So I guess he called the meeting. Why wouldn't he have a finished story? I don't know. Then David pipes up and he says, like, "Hey, I have a story." Kristen comments how he hasn't told one in a long time.
You haven't told one in a long time, David.
Yeah. I've been working on this one.
But this is technically the 4th episode of the first season. He told the last episode, but because this is the pilot, we hadn't seen him tell any stories before, so it's a little bit confusing in that respect. You think the writers would have picked up on that, but...
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this story The Tale of the Twisted Claw.
His story begins, it was the night before Halloween, the night of tricks and mischief night. We see 2 boys using shaving cream on a car, and then a couple more are TPing a house. The owner of the house yells at them, and they run away. Then we see our 2 protagonists, Dougie and Kevin. They're best friends. They're young boys. They're maybe around 11, 12 years old. I don't think they're much older than that. They're standing outside a house. Kevin is trying to get Dougie to do something he doesn't seem into because it's mischief night. Dougie is definitely the more, like, timid, reserved, shy one of the 2, and Kevin is the bold and daring one. Kevin asks Dougie if he's afraid of the witch. Then they make their way up to the house they were looking at, and Dougie bumps into Kevin. He tells Dougie the witch might hear them and to be quiet. A hand can be seen pulling a curtain back from the window. They don't see who it is. You don't see who it is. Boys creep up the front steps, and when the owner opens the door, Kevin sprays shaving cream into her face. What a dick. Such a shitty thing to do to somebody. They didn't knock on the door or ring the bell, so I guess they were just hoping she was gonna, like, open the door, and then, like, hear them, despite Kevin telling Dougie to be quiet because he didn't want them her to hear them. Logic of the episode. She screams, falters back into her house. She knocks over a vase, and then it smashes into pieces. Kevin runs away, but Dougie stays behind for a few seconds. He actually looks like he feels bad and apologetic for what happened. Kevin comes back, grabs Dougie, and tells them they gotta leave. The woman comes outside, removes her glasses, and she looks upset, but then she starts cackling. Dougie is back at his house. He's wearing a creepy bald mask, and he's laughing. He pretends he's choking, and his dad, like, doesn't even care. He's like, not even paying attention to him. He's ignoring Dougie. He's reading a newspaper. Dougie falls to the floor and his dad asks if he's finished his dinner. Dougie tells his dad he could at least play along and pretend, because that's what Gramps used to do. And he used to pretend he was scared.
You can at least pretend. Gramps used to pretend to be scared.
Dougie's mom tells him that Kevin is here. Kevin comes up. He's dressed as a bum for Halloween. Dougie's disappointed since it's the same costume he wears every year. Kevin's like, who cares? You get the same candy. Dougie's mom hands the boys bags and tells them to be careful. As they leave, Kevin tells trick-or-treaters he heard some of the candy is poisoned, and then they look at their stash of candy. Dougie is complaining and wants to stop trick-or-treating. Kevin tells him they just started. Yeah, it's literally been like a couple of minutes. They get to the older woman's house, who we learn is Miss Clove. Kevin suggests they go and visit, and Dougie doesn't really want anything to do with that, especially after they basically assaulted her the night before with the shaving cream and she broke her vase and everything. Kevin says she doesn't know it was them, and they're wearing costumes, and that no one visits Miss Clove's house, and Kevin says how they can tell everyone how brave they were and nobody else was brave enough to do it. Dougie wants to leave, but Kevin says he's going to tell everyone that Dougie was so scared he ran home to his mom.
Or I could say that you were too scared and had to run home to Mommy.
They go up to Miss Clove's house, and she opens the door, and the boys say trick or treat pretty timidly. She acts like she has never heard these before, and then she puts together like, oh, trick or treat. She has some sort of accent, so we don't know where she's from.
Trick or treat. Trick or treat. Treat. Or treat.
She didn't think anyone was going to come and tells the boys to come inside her house. She tells them she's going to give them a special treat because they were the only ones nice enough to stop by. They notice the vase is still broken on the floor.
The vase. She didn't even clean it up.
Miss Clove comes back with a music box, and it's playing Danse Macabre by Camille Saint-Saëns. I don't know if that's how you say the last name.
What is it?
It's the claw of a vulture.
I loved this music from the music box growing up, and I had no idea what it was until I became an adult. But it's Danse Macabre by Camille Saint-Saëns. He also did Carnival the Animals, which Beauty and the Beast features the aquarium movement from 1991. And then it's also in Fantasia 2000. So there you go. But yeah, Danse Macabre, it's really pretty. I wish I had this music box with that music in it. She opens up the box. Inside is the claw of a vulture. Dougie's, and they're kind of creeped out. They're like, ugh. She's like, no, it's made of wood, don't worry. She tells the boys it is magic, and whoever gets it has 3 wishes. If this thing's magic, why would she just give it away? Like, unless the magic's all used up or whatever. Kevin asks greedily if it's 3 wishes each or 3 total, and she says she doesn't really know, but it's probably 3 each.
3 wishes apiece or 3 for both of us? Kevin.
I'm sure it means 3 wishes apiece.
Dougie thanks her, says he'd rather have the candy, and wants to go home. But she insists that they take the claw. Yeah, that might be sign of something bad to come. She won't take no for an answer.
Thanks, lady, but I think we'll just take some candy and call it a night.
Nonsense. You must take it. I won't take no for an answer.
Again, I would just take the box, because I love the tune. I'd be like, monkey paw. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a monkey's paw, but the vulture claw, I wouldn't really care about that. I'd want the box. It looks really nice, and it plays a cool tune. Dougie takes the claw, not sure why they didn't take the music box, and Miss Clove tells them to be careful what they wish for.
Be careful what you wish for. You might just get it.
They leave, and Kevin says he doesn't believe the claw and doesn't believe it has any magical powers. Dougie says he wishes that they could go home and lose the stupid trick-or-treating. He drops a claw and tells Kevin it moved. Kevin says it's just a piece of old junky wood like Dougie's head, and he wants to get more candy. Later on, they come across some much older teenagers, I'm guessing they're teenagers. They're wearing masks. They're wearing these creepy white masks. Like, these people look like they were the Purge or something. These goons have this, like, makeshift fire. They notice the boys, and one of them grabs them. They surround the boys and start asking if they have candy and telling them it'll rot their teeth and give them cavities. And then they have, like, weird echoes to their voice at this point. They tell the boys to give them their candy. Kevin tries getting his candy back from one of the goons, and the guy falls back onto his bike. The boys run away. The goons chase after him. Dougie and Kevin escape by hiding in, like, these metal garbage barrels. Dougie says it's been such a shitty Halloween, and Kevin's like, well, you got what you wished for.
This has been a really bad Halloween. What are you complaining for? You got your wish. No more trick-or-treating. I'm out of here.
The next day at school, Kevin and Dougie are, like, at their lockers, and Kevin asks Dougie if he doesn't if he doesn't believe the claw's magic, why is he scared of it? He says it just gives him the creeps. Someone hands Kevin a flyer, and he says the claw's going to give him something he's wanted since he was a kid. He's a kid now. How long has this been? He looks over at another boy who's Bostic. Field day is this afternoon, and Kevin wants to beat him in the 600. Now, Bostic is played by Jason Tremblay, who played Denny in Tale of the Phantom Cab, and he's noticeably younger here, so, you know, that harkens back to this episode being from 1990, and he would be younger than Phantom Cab, even though Phantom Cab's technically the first episode of the series, so... He looks at least 2 or 3 years younger here again. That makes sense. Yeah, Kevin wishes he could beat Bostic. Dougie tells Kevin there's no chance he can beat Bostic since no one does, and tells Kevin not to make a wish. But yeah, Kevin wishes, and then the claw goes green, moves, and freaks Kevin out because he hasn't actually witnessed this yet or experienced it. Dougie says he told Kevin it was alive, and Kevin says who cares if it helps him beat Bostic, it can pick his nose.
I wish it could beat Bostic in the 600. Whoa! It moved. I don't care if it jumps up and picks my nose.
Outside, the gym teacher / coach is telling everyone it's the 600 finals. We actually see like a pretty realistic sized school in the background, and then houses, like a very realistic neighborhood. Obviously it's a real neighborhood, but compared to like movies and TV shows nowadays that are pretty much on sound stages for the most part and stuff, or digital, it's refreshing to see this. But it looks like the same size of school like I went to in elementary school. But a bunch of people are giving high fives and cheering on Bostic. Dougie and Kevin are stretching. Kevin says how Bostic thinks he's so good and how he's going to beat Bostic. I mean, yeah, if Bostic's always winning, I could see why he would think he's so good. Bostic wishes Kevin good luck, and Dougie also wishes Kevin good luck. Not sure why they're doing track and field, or just track, on... I guess it's not even track. They called it field day, right? But now we're sure why they're doing it on a literal field of grass and not gravel or asphalt track. That's what we did in my school. Everyone's cheering the runners on. Bostic's in the lead. Then some music plays, and Dougie looks behind him at a big tree. We hear growling, and then a huge dog bolts out from behind the tree. It looks like a German Shepherd or a very similar style dog. It runs at Bostic, and at this point, it seems like only Dougie can see this dog. No one else can. I don't know why. But Dougie yells, "No!" as the dog runs in front of Bostic, causes him to fall, so I guess Bostic can see the dog too, but no one else can. He rolls around on the ground while the other runners make their way to the finish line, even jump over him. Like, nice not anybody checks on him. Kevin gets first, celebrates, and then you can hear Miss Clove's evil laughter. Kevin exclaims, like, "I did it, I won." Dougie tells him it was the dog, and the dog has disappeared.
I did it. I beat him. Listen, it was the dog. Listen, look, the dog.
Everyone sees Bostic laying on the ground, holding on to his knee. It takes everyone all this time to run over to him. It's been at least probably, I'd say, a good 5 to 10 seconds. Why is nobody running over to him when he falls on the ground? Even the coach, like, hasn't run over to him at this point. They call an ambulance to come and get him. Dougie asks if Bostic is okay, and the coach says he has a broken leg. He probably does, but it could also be sprained or twisted. Like, he's not a doctor. He doesn't really know. Nobody really checked on it. Kevin looks a little bit guilty at this point, but he's believing it's an accident and Bostic tripped. Dougie tells him he didn't trip. It's because of the dog. The dog has disappeared.
He tripped, right? It was an accident. These things happen, right?
She didn't just trip. It was the dog. Where's the dog?
Then we cut back to the Midnight Society. Kiki says how they each have used up a wish. Yes, they did. And Gary says how something evil happened both times. Eric says he would wish for $1 million and take his chances if something bad was happening. That night, Dougie's parents went out for dinner. Kevin comes over. He brought over the medal he won earlier. He doesn't even really seem upset or heartbroken over Bostic getting hurt. At least Dougie feels bad about it, but Kevin is in denial and says it was an accident. Dougie says that Miss Clove warned them to be careful what they wished for. Kevin again tells Dougie that there's nothing magical about the claw. Dougie reminds Kevin about the goons from Halloween night, like the previous night. He then mentions how if his Gramps was there, he would know what to do, and how he will be grounded for life if his parents find out about what they did to Miss Clove. Dougie wants to take the claw back to Miss Clove and apologize, which is probably the right thing to do, and tell his parents what they did. Kevin grabs the claw and wishes Dougie would lose his parents. The claw glows green and it moves. Dougie is understandably pissed because Kevin just wished that his parents basically died. That he lost his parents. Like, what a nice friend.
But my folks. I wish you'd just lose your folks.
Kevin denies that he made a wish that anything happened.
No, it just...
You made a wish!
No, I didn't.
You wish I'd lose my folks!
Yeah, but...
Then all of a sudden the phone rings, Dougie answers it, and Lieutenant Carruthers from Cooper City Police tell him his parents have been involved in a car accident and taken to the hospital. That's when we learn his name is Douglas Freeman instead of Dougie. He yells no, slams the phone down, and rips it from the wall. Because, it was a landline at the time. My parents still have one, but yeah, it was a landline at the time. Kevin asks him what's wrong, and Dougie tells him his parents are in the hospital and it's all because of the stupid wish. Kevin at this point is still refusing to believe in magic for whatever reason. He tells Dougie to wish for his parents to be okay like 2 seconds after. Dougie says he can't because every time they wish for something, something bad happens.
Then wish for them to be okay.
Yeah. No. Every time we make a wish, something bad happens.
Dougie is definitely the smarter of the two. When they're talking, he's accidentally wishing how his Gramps was there. The claw moves, and he throws it across the room.
I wish Gramps were here. He'd know what to do.
Kevin tells Dougie that his grandpa is dead, and then all of a sudden they hear a car horn honking outside and see an older car driving slowly into the mist and fog. It stops in front of Dougie's house. Dougie says that it's his grandpa's car, and Kevin doesn't want to meet a ghost. He says that they have to wish it away. Kevin keeps trying to get the claw, because at this point it's on the ground. He goes to run to get the claw, and Dougie is stopping him from making another wish. Dougie's grandpa is the slowest walker in the world. He's making his way up to the house. We don't see the grandpa, but we see through the perspective of the grandpa walking. Some groaning and music is happening at this point. Kevin says he has one wish left and he's not meeting a ghost. The doorbell rings. Dougie grabs the claw and Kevin tells him to wish it away. Dougie says he's going to make the wish they should have from the beginning. That they're sorry they broke Miss Clove's vase and that it should never have happened.
We're sorry we broke Miss Clove's vase, and we wish it never, ever happened.
And then this time, instead of the claw glowing and freaking them out, it just disappears. The doorbell rings again. Kevin tells Dougie not to answer it. Then he hides under a table. Dougie takes his sweet-ass time answering the door. He's not fast. He's pretty resistant to go answer the door, or hesitant to go answer the door. It ends up being his parents. They say they forgot their keys, but they were gone for a while, so I'm guessing it was their house keys and not their car keys. I don't know. I keep my house keys and my car keys on the same key ring, but that's just me. Dougie asks if they're okay and asks if anything bad happened. His mom says they just went over to the Morrisons. His dad says they almost got sideswiped by a truck driver. Dougie then hugs his parents and tells them he's happy to see them. Dougie and Kevin check to see if Dougie's grandpa's car is still there, and it's gone. And Kevin is like, oh, what? What happened? What's going on? They check on the phone in the living room, and it's back to where it was before Dougie, smashed it on the ground. Kevin is still confused, doesn't understand what's happening. Dougie, again, is the smart one here. He knows exactly what's happening. He tells Kevin to check his pockets. Kevin's medal's gone. Dougie tells him Bostic has it because Bostic won the 600 like he was supposed to. The dog never showed up. The goons never showed up. None of the stuff they wished for happened. Then they made the right wish. The doorbell rings, they go to see who it is, and Miss Clove's vase is on the porch, fully intact, and a note that says trick or treat. I guess she kept the vase broken on the floor so she could tell if they made the right choice or not, and then she could give it to them. I don't know. David says all he could hear was the sound of the wind blowing through the trees, or was it the cackle of a sly witch? We see Miss Clove's house, hear her laughing, and the gate creaking shut. The Midnight Society is all spooked, but then they smile because they enjoyed the story. Gary wishes everyone pleasant dreams and puts out the fire. And that basically is the episode of The Twisted Claw. So, for the cast, you have Noah Plenner, who played Dougie. He was also in Tale of Magician's Assistant, which I remember that episode. He's also in Ready or Not with Amanda from the last episode, Tale of the Lonely Ghost. He's one of the main character's brothers, so he's in that a lot. Anne Page, who played Miss Clove, she was married to Aaron Tager, who was in Mr. Vink in a ton of episodes, in the Carney from Tale of Laughing in the Dark. Linda E. Smith, who's Dougie's mom, she was in Tale of the Stone Maiden. I don't remember that episode much. That's from the 2000s seasons, or like the late 90s, 2000s seasons. She's also in a movie that I really liked as a kid that I need to rewatch. I think Apple has it in their store. Tommy Tricker and the Stamp Traveler. I need to rewatch that. Maybe I'll make an episode about that. Gordon Maston, who played the coach, was in Tale of the Gruesome Gourmets. Again, not an episode I've seen in a very long time because it's one of the later seasons. And then, of course, I mentioned Jason Tremblay, who played Bostic. He was in Tale of the Phantom Cab. So that was the main cast who's actually been in other stuff. The kid who played Kevin hadn't been in any other episodes of the show, so... And again, this is technically the first episode. It first aired in 1990 with a different cast of actors from the Night Society, except Ross Hall. He was Frank in the pilot, but then Gary in this series. And then I will link the clip again for the Instagram video of the original cast that the Nostalgia Society posted. But yeah, that's about it for this week's episode. So hopefully you like it. It's a good one. I like it. I like the Danse Macabre music. Again, I didn't know what it was for years until I became an adult, and then I knew what it was. But yeah, I really like that, and I like the aquarium music from Beauty and the Beast as well. But yeah, this one's a good one. I would rather have the music box than the Twisted Claw, because the Twisted Claw is evil. Anything you wish for happens to produce bad results. So I don't think I would be making a wish of anything. I guess I would make one wish just not even thinking, and then something bad would happen. I'd be like, yeah, no, I wish I never got the claw. Things were the way they were before. But yeah, thank you for listening and tuning in on Spotify, YouTube, or Apple Podcasts. If you want to leave any comments or anything, feel free to send me an email. Again, the link's in the description. If this is on YouTube, you can leave a comment below. YouTube has been like disabling my comments when I make the video public. I'll have the video on for a few days to a week or longer, and then all of a sudden when I actually post it public or make it public, they disable the comments, and that's been happening to every single one of these videos so far. I'm sure it'll happen to this one because yeah, it's just YouTube and they don't have a solution for it yet, which is annoying. So I've had to like make the comments public, or I've had to disable that and make it so the comments aren't disabled, and I've had to do that like 3 or 4 times, sometimes more per video, and then finally it works after like the 5th attempt. So yeah, if it says the comments are disabled, just try again. It'll eventually allow them. This has been Mary, and thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Retro Rewatch Podcast. I'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.